Hello ladies, we are going to be talking about a Thanksgiving tablescape. First, I'm going to start off with an individual place setting. This is a placemat. I obviously got at IKEA. I think it was like $5. I layered that with a large dinner plate or a charger plate. It happens to be plaid. Next would be a salad plate, and I just went with white. A cloth napkin. I love cloth napkins. This one happens to be just in the burnt orange color and a solid. I'm using a napkin ring. You can do various things with that too. You can do a tie, but I did a napkin ring here and it happened to be etched on. Next, you're going to actually use your flatware. This happens to be a knife, a spoon, and a fork. Your knives always go to the right with your spoon. Blade faces in, and then your fork is always, the forks are always going to go to your left. Next would be glassware. This just happens to be what they call a highball or a tall glass. And next, we happen to like Martinelli's, so this is more of like a flute that I placed with it. You can do one or the other. I happen to like multiple things. This just happens to be a name card holder. And later I'm going to show you actually the different styles of things you can do. But just basically you can slip a little name card right in there so people know where they sit. I'm setting a table of 6, but depending upon if you have a large table, sometimes that can be helpful. So those are the individual place settings. Now I'm going to show you what it is to basically set the entire table. This is a runner I'm using. It happens to tie in with some of the colors that I am using on my charger plates. It's kind of a little bit of gray, white, and some burnt orange. That again is the IKEA placemat. Again, it's $5 at IKEA. That's my large charger plate that you can use as a base for dinner and whatnot. You can use a salad plate on top of that if you're layering, or here I show it with like a white dinner plate. I love white plates because they can kind of mix and match with everything, depending upon the season. Can never go wrong with kind of a white plate, and food always looks great on white. Next, again, I have those napkins. I did them in kind of a bow shape. You can do them in all kinds of different shapes. You can create a pumpkin looking. I just happen to like napkin rings. So I just did it in a bow shape and faced it towards the center. You can do several things. Next, again, of course, is the glassware. Super simple. Again, I'm doing a flute for like Martinelli's or other fun things. And then I do a highball with it as well, which is basically a tall glass. They use traditionally for like water or soda or whatever you'd like to use. Next, of course, would be the flatware that you would place down. And again, earlier, if you're going to do a formal setting, you would do a knife, a larger serving, like a tablespoon and a teaspoon, all on to the right. And then you do a dinner fork closest to the setting and your salad fork to the far left. And then these are just my little, I'm going to actually set down the nameplates. So the name tags is the next thing. Coming up, I go over a little bit. I happen to have cute little bird holders that go with my setting, but you can do various things with nameplates. I also happen to have like, this is just a basic setup. I have like a candle. That is a 2-tiered thing that I normally put like hors d'oeuvres and things on. And then I have like a bar of Martinelli's. And then this is a bucket that I normally put ice in with the Martinelli's in it. And you can throw a couple of pumpkins on there. That's kind of a basic setup for a dinner on this version. So now this is kind of how I did some of the name cards. This is what's called a punch. You can get them in different shapes and sizes. This just happens to be a good size for what I was using. You can do it in colors. You can do it in white, depending upon what you like to do. You can use multiple different pens. You can use paint pens. You can use Sharpies. You can use just a ballpoint pen, depending upon what you're doing. With this one, I happen to have a lot of gray and silver in my place settings for Thanksgiving. So what I decided to do was take one of the shapes and take a silver paint pen, and I decided to go around it and mark around the shape to give it like a silver edge. That's what I decided to do. And the great thing about paper is you can always crumple up and start over again. So some people don't love their handwriting, some people like to print, whatever your heart desires. You can actually even print things out on a piece of paper. I've done this before on the printer, and then just cut them out and then punched around it, which is also a great idea. And it looks like you have amazing handwriting and everything looks super consistent. But on here, I basically just outlined it and wrote the name in the center. Super simple. And then I have, like I said, they look like little birds that have a place for a slot for the card. And I just slid the name right in there. Super simple. Okay, so now let's talk about centerpiece options. So like earlier, I just did some serving pieces, which you can totally do. Here, I found these really simple wreaths. They were at Joann's for like 70% off. I think I got them for $7. And then I just put candles in the center. Really simple, but nice effect. So now the second one that I'm doing, these are actually that's a soup tureen, and these are like jars that open up that look like little pumpkins. I basically put them down the center, and the great thing is you can actually fill these full of food items if you want to. And then what I did was these happen to be floral stems. They're kind of green with these little white pumpkins, and I basically just wind them kind of down the center of the table to kind of make it look like a little bit of a pumpkin patch sort of look with the vines and whatnot. And I just scrolled those down and through. You don't have to be super specific. It's just fun, depending on what you have around. You can actually use whatever florals you kind of have. And here's some close-up looks of the actual table. Okay, so now on this third look, I took the same pumpkins, and if you notice, I'm lining them just down the center of the table, kind of creating a shape, kind of like a little bit of an S shape. You want to cover up your vines, your stems with other stems. And then I took they're kind of like off-white berries that I found. I think I found these at Hobby Lobby, super simple. I took 3 of those and pushed those in the middle of the different white pumpkins. These I found, they're made of felt, so they're like felt pumpkins with like kind of a brown stem. I found these, I think, at the dollar spot at Target last year. I have some gray ones and some off-white ones, which happen to go with my setting. Again, I do kind of an orange off-white and a gray kind of a setting. And then those are super simple, and I just run them down the center, and I have some close-ups of that. Okay, so now the next thing is I wanted to do an inexpensive options, right? So what do you do when you have 10 more people coming? Well, these are items that I found at the dollar store. That is my placemat from IKEA, $5. But then they have these gold chargers at the dollar store. They're plastic, but they actually look really nice. They're only $1. Then I happened to find these plates. These are porcelain plates. They come with a gold rim at the dollar store. They actually look really nice. And they also have matching salad plates, right? So each of these were $1. So right now, without the placemat, we're into this for $3 for a place setting. They also happen to have some nice water glasses, right? $1 again. Then in their craft section, they have these chalkboard tags. And then I found a gold pen. And so with the tag, I basically just laid it out, and I'm just demonstrating a couple of different techniques that you can do. Writing in, super simple with a gold pen, has a big effect. You can write just names. You can write, mom, dad, brother, however you want. You can get a little more creative and actually do a little faux calligraphy here where I'm basically just lining some of the thicker parts. You can actually I draw like maybe some little leaf designs on there, which happens to be great. You can do things like, this one says grateful. You can later I put thankful. It's just a fun way of kind of dressing up your table. And again, the pen was $1, and for 6 of the tags, those were $1. So really inexpensive, fun way. Another thing that you can do is right now at the church building, there are tons of leaves that are falling off trees. You can actually go grab some leaves. It's actually better if they're a little greener. Grab the leaves and actually take a gold pen or a black Sharpie or a silver pen, depending on what you're doing. Again, you can buy them at the dollar store and write people's names, and it's just a fun way of doing a place setting. The other fun thing about these, if you notice, they have a string. So if you wanted to do a cloth napkin or even just a nice paper napkin, you can actually use this to tie around the napkin, which is kind of fun, kind of like a napkin ring. Super similar. Fun way, it just makes people feel special. I love doing tablescapes because I love making people feel special. So as many individual things I can do so people know that I'm thinking of them, it's kind of my way of expressing my love and affection. But this is kind of a nice, fun, easy thing I thought that I wanted to share with you guys. And also in the next pictures, you're going to see a floral piece. That vase, you can get vases at the dollar stores too. And I just did a simple arrangement just with some sale flowers from Smith's. And that is a couple ideas for Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoyed everything that we put together and you guys have the happiest of Thanksgiving.